Hey, Viola Rolls here, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. So, Gant has appeared now that we've convicted Emma, but I'm not convinced that Emma is the perpetrator, because if this is anything like the case where Edgeworth thought he killed his father, the blame actually falls to someone else. Plus, it's a little bit too convenient, and we haven't used up all our evidence yet. Do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? Right. Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. I get what they're trying to say. He was convicted for Neil Marshall's death in particular, but are we going to ignore the fact that he did a hit and run and then killed 4 other people before killing Neil Marshall? He's not completely innocent, and he still would have been sentenced to death for those other murders, right? Am I wrong about that? Not only that, but he used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. Hey, that's not his fault, that's your fault! But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer, that's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Because it doesn't fit your narrative. And you know we aren't defenders of justice. Well, speak for yourself. What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. What's going on at the prosecutor's office? He might have sent an innocent man to his death. How can he just stand there like it wasn't his fault? Order! 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 Do we have to take another recess? Yeah, he did. The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. To be continued. Why don't we always, finish an episode a little bit before the to be continued section? I do that a lot, I've noticed. But anyway, I feel like it's really bad that they just want to dump this all on Edgeworth. Yes, he got somebody who was innocent in a case, who was convicted for a crime he didn't commit, but he still killed all those other people. He still would have gotten the same sentence. Just because he got it for the wrong thing doesn't mean that he should have been allowed to live, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Is this going to be a running joke with you, this chapter? Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Oh, Detective Kongshu, what is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run around, all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. You said this earlier. Take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law? Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. I'm sure you know the 2 rules of evidence law, don't you, Wright? Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Securely slipped evidence law into pocket. It doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me. Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you are unaware of, and when Skye found out she unwittingly caused a man's death. And now you're telling me you want to do more? You've got to be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Let's do it. February 25th, 12:52 p.m., District Courtroom Number 9. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, I guess he wasn't expecting him to have that reaction. Normally, this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. But, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that Mr. Edgeworth may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses. I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's never been a case example. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The, defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls. Time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Damon Gant, get on the stand. Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant had first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. All right. Bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto, what's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. I know, but we want to hear what you think. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure, take my testimony for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Now, don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. SL9 Incident. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. Of course you think that, Judge. You think everything's clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. Let's start by pressing his statements. Recall Neil and I were questioning him that day, that's fine. To make a long story short, we slipped up, that power outage didn't help either. Elaborate on that, please. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went into his heart, though. That's not funny. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor? Yes, apparently his head was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body, it had already been moved. So that means you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway, as you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Press the statement. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you're better off staring at the court record. Worthy. Always a smooth talker. But which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gant to the incident. Which two pieces of evidence would tie him to it? Final fragment found in Chief Gant's safe. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's that blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk.
It was found where?
You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation.
Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy.
So you admit to it then, that you were involved in the forgery?
Who, me? Or do you mean
you? Huh? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Oh, because you broke into your office without your permission? Is that what you're getting at?
Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too.
Okay, so now we have to prove that the evidence is legitimate.
Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment.
What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work.
Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence. Please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together.
Well, no, it's more that the judge doesn't know how to put two and two together, but anyway.
Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way.
Actually, yes it would. It would get rid of suspicion for you if you made it look like it only happened on Lana's side of the office.
Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor?
When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences.
Oh.
Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again.
Hey, just like Red, White of Blue Corp.
Apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Uji. In return, though, I know, that place, right?
Huh? What are these guys, telepathic? No, they're just rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. That's not true. Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all this.
Oh? I wasn't aware. What is this benefit?
That would of course be the position you have, Chief of Police.
Oh?
The resolution of the SO9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is a sufficient motive. True.
Oh, that's a good one.
Huh?
Do you really think I'm that incompetent?
Well, yes. What do you mean?
And even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable.
Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes. He was going to be made chief anyway. Why does nobody tell us anything?
Be careful when pointing that finger. They might end up being the one pointed at.
So that means there's only one possible motive for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else.
Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I.
Wow.
There. It's out in the open now. Luigi, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do.
What do you want to add? I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. I'm gonna press that statement. That's not true. Nothing in it for you?
Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, his little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again.
You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone.
Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised.
You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though.
Oh, that's a good one, Worthy.
Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? Point out accomplice. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake. But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone.
Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the Chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand.
No, but thanks, I think. That's not what I mean.
Very well, I'll ask. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence?
Lana Skye.
Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye, the defendant?
Yes. I believe it's quite obvious in the light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit.
Self-profit? What do you mean?
After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant.
But how would he profit from all of this?
He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations.
Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets?
Oh my god.
Really, Judge? Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind.
Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive, to appoint her as chief prosecutor so you could control her.
Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. Sorry, my voice is giving out on me.
What?
Do you have any proof of this, that I control Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing?
No. Lana... she's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant.
I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture.
Unless... that is also what happened in this incident.
This incident? Or which one would that be?
Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her.
Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean?
What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement.
What? Order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious.
Huh?
This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder? That's, impossible!
Is it though, Judge? Is it? Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in an easier to understand language.
It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. It looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the Chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder?
Good question.
Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell.
I see. All right then, show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Just remember, it better be good.
Oh, right. The ID card report.
This is the ID card list.
Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7777777.
Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number.
It's your number.
What? How do you know that?
The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code.
7 digits? You don't mean...
I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime.
Oh, he's mad now.
But we'll see where this will go in the next episode. If you guys enjoyed this one, give this video a like. Also be sure to like my Facebook page and follow me on Twitter, as well as support my Patreon and check out my reaction channel. All those links will be in the description below. And subscribe for more. If you are subscribed or a new subscriber right now, be sure to hit that bell icon to be notified when I upload videos. This is Viola Rules, signing off. Talk to you later.